And she's talked about how openly this has really, brought a lot of pain in her life.
No one has asked us how we felt. We exist to validate a male's identity. But the Ivy League, Leah Thomas's teammates, actually, when they were concerned about the locker room situation and they sent an email to the Ivy League and the NCAA, their response was, here are some counseling resources you should seek if you feel comfortable seeing male genitalia in your locker room. And then they were referred to the LGBTQ Education Center to educate themselves on the oppression that these athletes are dealing with. So no one within the NCAA is willing to acknowledge us, our feelings, our safety, our privacy. I've really tried. I feel like it's really only happened like the past couple weeks where I get emotional talking about the locker room scene, because it is just so wild that you can turn around and see a 6'4" biological man pull his pants down watching you undress, and no one is willing to stick up for you.
The emotion of her voice seems to say it all, but that's what we're talking about. That's the bottom line. So it's about women being treated as having full agency for themselves and not wanting to be there to placate men or how men feel. So it's very interesting that Pete Buttigieg this week took the opportunity to describe it something like this.
That's not great territory for them to be debating on. So what do? They find somebody vulnerable and pick on them, which at the moment is largely the trans community. And they find something to talk about which can go between the laughable, like is Donald Duck going to make your kid gay, to the incredibly dark, which is the suggestion that the very presence of someone who is gender nonconforming or trans or gay or lesbian or otherwise different, the very existence of somebody like that is an adult subject, right? That if my kids in, let's say, a first grade classroom were to mention in passing that over the weekend they had a great time going with their dads to the zoo, that they would have somehow, by saying that, uttered something age inappropriate and get us really fired up about that fight.
So now Riley Gaines is the problem because she doesn't want to have a 6'4" man whip out his member in front of her in the locker room. Pete Buttigieg makes Riley Gaines the aggressor. She's the victim. But in his world, she's the aggressor.